going on, guys? We got a Note 20 Ultra. Back isn't broken. We're going to try to pop the back off, and we're going to do a front on this. See, it's cracked right there. Screen still works good. We're going to do a quick test, make sure the phone's working prior to repairing it. It looks like the service pack they sent me was for a white one. So the frame is going to be different. I don't think the guy cares. He's just looking to get the phone fixed. So with that being said, this is the pack here. As you can see, it comes ready to go. And maybe I put white, I don't know. So I even got a white back. So I'm not really 100% sure, just in case. So first things we want to check is the camera. Camera's looking fine. Now the reverse thing. There's a line on the screen. So the camera works fine. Power it off, it was getting service. Pull the SIM out of there. So what we're going to do is try to pull this back off without damaging it right now. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to heat this up, and we'll get some pry tools and we'll get going. So I'm going to put this on my heater. After I heat the back glass up, I have this tool. It's called a magic glass tool. It's just a thin piece of metal. I like to try to get it in there, get it started. People call me old school or whatever. I'm good with that. I've been repairing phones probably since they were babies. So we get it started so we can get our plastic piece in there. The corners are the... So when we get to the corner, you're going to want to be careful. And just keep on slowly. You know, we may break this. Sometimes it's a pain to get them off. I think what I'm going to have to do, since I had somebody come in, is heat it up for a couple more minutes. All right, it's been a minute on there. So we got the bottom corner pretty well lifted, and we're working our way up to the top. If yours is broken, you don't even need to worry about this. We just got to get it off on yours. I'm trying to do it to save it. So you can see I worked it in that corner. So essentially now, it wants to come up, but the issue that I always pose is this side has not a straight edge. So if you're slow with it, there we go. So after you get the back off, In this case, we're going to put it to the side. And then once we look here at the phone, just double check and make sure it's still powered off before we continue. And now we're going to have to get out our Phillips screwdriver. Oops. I always start with these because we're going to want to try to isolate that battery first. And if this is like every other Samsung, the screws location doesn't matter. They should all be the same size, but I'm going to check them real quick and I'll let you know if they're different. Okay, so as you can see, this pad right here, this is what does the wireless charging. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to unstick this sticker down here at the bottom. Like so. Then it would be stuck a little bit along the side where the pencil is. Pop that up. And if you notice right here, there's a connector. We'll pop that up. And then there's one connector even right here. So pop all those up. It comes off. Pretty easy. Put it off to the side. Whatever you do, don't touch these camera lenses, because once you touch them, the only way to clean them is to replace them. So we'll continue to work our way around. Probably blocking everything, but take out those silver screws. What we're going to want to do is come in here, and any of these, you're either going to want to use your fingernail or you're going to want to use like a plastic connector, which I should have pulled this battery connector off before I even took out those screws. Once I lifted this up, disconnect the battery. That's your first step. Then you can start disconnecting these other ones. Let's use this. You be very careful not to like knock anything off of the motherboard, because there's little tiny components. I don't know if you can see, like right there, those little resistors or whatever, and you rip them off, the phone isn't going to work right. So we'll get all these popped off. These are for the 5G antennas. They're really fragile, like really fragile. So after all that's disconnected, we can even pop this one off for the flash. Now we got to try to get this plastic piece up. Without picking the phone up, it's going to be tough to do. Move it off to the side. Now you can see you expose the camera. Get these connectors, and take a quick glance. You can see that there's no other screws holding the motherboard down. We can come over here. We can pull out these screws holding the cameras. These little black screws over here holding the 5G antenna, or one of the 5G antennas. Hopefully I'm not blocking everything. And Let's see. We're gonna have to unpop the front camera connector. Be very careful. And the cameras are glued in, so they're not gonna come out easy. We already removed the SIM tray. And see if I can get it to pop out with this plastic piece. Sometimes I have to actually hold the phone up in the air to get it to come out easy. These cables are in my way. But whatever you do, don't touch the camera lenses. All right, so I was able to like pick up this bottom half. What's holding it now, I forgot to mention this, is once you push in that thing for the SIM tray, it leaves a little peg in there, and that little peg looks like it was sticking down. Come on, baby, get out of there. Hopefully I'm not off the screen. So once you get the board out, be very careful not to touch it. Make sure you don't disconnect anything. Put this off to the side. Now we're gonna come down here. I forgot to move the pen. Remove these screws here at the bottom. Now we got to try to pop this off. Put that off to the side. Now you can see this cable actually has a connector to the other 5G antenna. So we're gonna get these screws out. Pop that out. And if you see here, this bottom board actually has screws in it. So I'll pop that out. The charging port is screwed in. I'll pop that out. So let's get this little board out of the way. If it'll come out. It's slowly lifting up. Put that off to the side. Not even sure what that's for. Not even sure what that's for. Typically that all would be on the charger, so it has something to do with that, I'm sure. Now the charging port, she's a toughie to come out. Very easily, because this stuff can get damaged extremely easily. So we'll put that off to the side. We're getting there. Now we gotta come into this 5G antenna. These are glued down. Pull that up like that, put it off to the side. Same thing over here on this one. If you put it underneath the ear right there, you can pick it up without damaging it. That's the key. This stuff is extremely fragile, nothing like the old phones. They're like these ones, you look at them wrong and they break. So let's see here. We still got the camera, the battery, the vibrate thing. The camera is going to be the toughie. So what we'll do is I use this. It's a metal, like, dental tool, more or less. Because they like hot glue, which is not hot glue, it's way gluier than that, this front camera in. And if you don't switch this camera over, and you just say, oh, I'll put a new one in it, or your part comes with a camera, your front camera won't work anymore. So you have to, I repeat, you have to do this if you want your front camera to work. If you're careful, you can just pick up the glue there. Hopefully the camera's picking up what I'm doing. There we go. Camera's out. There's still a little glue on this corner. Pop it off. So we'll put that off to the side, make sure not to touch it. Now we got our battery. What I'm gonna do is put a little bit of heat here. It should come off. Transfer over our parts. I'm gonna pull this little plastic. I'm gonna take our motherboard first. Looking good. Put these two screws right here to hold it in place. Everything's looking like it's gonna line up nice. You want to check these cables because you can't stretch the cables. They have to be perfect. If they're not perfect, then something isn't right. So we'll take our camera, slide it up in there. Perfect. Put this off to the side. We're coming back. We just warmed the front of the screen just a tiny bit. And what I'm going to do is try to pop this out. So in order to get this battery out, it's a little bit of a task. Sometimes you can get in here and start prying. I have this little bottle with alcohol and I like to squirt a little bit in there. And then slowly pry. Like that. All right, so when you get the battery ready to put in, you just want to set it in there. Sometimes the adhesive is still good enough. You know, make sure you check it. This one, I ended up having to put a little bit more adhesive on there. We can connect this one connector here. We can connect this little guy here for the pen. So we got all those connected now so far, looking good. We got our 5G antenna one, put that in. Like that. Get these little black screws over here. Put that in there. Looking good. Take our charging port, slide it back in there. Throw the screws back on it. Take our little charging board, put it back in there. It had the one screw in the center there, so we'll put that back. Snap that connector, the sub connector. We can put the main back in there. And then we can put this other main back in. I'm just not going to hook the battery up yet. And then we got this plastic with the flash. Snap it in. You don't want to go crazy torquing these down just in case you end up making it pull through and hit the screen. So we're going to tighten them up, but not like, we're not using a torque wrench on them. So put our bottom piece back in. Look at that, huh? Everything's looking really well. Take our wireless pad. Make sure it, whoops, I forgot we had to push the battery on. It's just actually plugged in. Connect that one there. Connect this one real quick. Stick it back down there. Perfect. All right. So at this point, if we had a broken back glass, we would pull out our back glass. As you can see over here, I have a white one. We would pop this off because it's just glued on there, and then stick it back on there. It's just the microphone for the rear facing camera. Pop off these little plastic connectors. Make sure this is glued down really good, and then slap it on. So what I'm going to be doing is slapping back on this one. And since we didn't damage the glue whatsoever, we're able to reuse it. So putting it back together, you notice the frame is a little different. What I'm going to do is power it up. And we're going to do a test. cameras seem to be working fine. Little thumbs up. My daughter would go, ooh. Everything seems to be working fine. So now let's put our SIM card in, our SIM tray. Good service. So there you go. If we did replace the back glass, what we'd want to do is go through each camera and test them, but we already did that, and test the microphone to make sure that, you know, everything's working there. So if this video helped you, please like and subscribe, and everything seems to be working great and no complaints. So we'll do the camera test again. Yeah. Perfect. Hit that like and subscribe button.